There it is, the same. Is that a different shirt? It looks a little different.
This one has lots of cats. Oh,
Is
cats.
Is it stylish to be gaudy in New Zealand right now?
It's always stylish to be gaudy.
Is that your your reaction to the last 3 years of madness, that you're just, I'm going to dress how I like it all the time?
Yeah, that's my reaction to the last 30 years.
I love it. He's a synergy man. Okay, I'm in charge, right? I'm in charge. It's my meeting. You got to do what I got to say.
Something like that.
Jorge looks like he's caught in a smile that's going to last forever. I like
Jorge is
there's two Jorge. There's two Jorge.
I'm double now.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, and I don't want to hear any holding space from nobody but me. Okay, nobody, especially you, Jorge. You're not holding nothing right now. Okay, so everyone's gonna check in, and you're gonna check in with something that you've accomplished in the last week that's a victory, and something that you're finding very challenging right now. We're just switching into Pluto, just moved into Aquarius. We're moving into a whole new world right now, just in case you didn't know. So a victory of the week and a challenge of the week. And who wants to go first?
Me.
I just want to double check. Are we good for an hour and a half, everyone?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay. Cool. All right. Sorry. I know. Yes. You claimed the leadership.
I know. I was letting you go because it was a good, important point.
So victory. I got to a point where I can able to slow down, and I started to sing again. So that's a victory. Challenge. Keep myself in the present and trying to not worry about the finances. Thank you.
Synergy man.
Hello, my name is Nova. I am checking in, feeling
Cut that out, Jorge.
I guess quiet. I'm feeling kind of quiet in my mind, which is nice. My feet are a little bit cold. I think I'm going to put on some socks. And emotionally, I feel happy. Pretty, I'd say like 10% more than nothing. I feel 10% happy and nothing else. And so a win for me, or is that what it was? A win and a challenge?
Challenge.
Just challenge. It was a success and a challenge, or what was it?
Well, it's kind of like what you're doing with me right now, challenging. Just what kind of challenges you got in your life?
Oof. Well, let's see. I guess, oh, that's weird. My number 11 magnet has disappeared. I just realized I have magnets 1 to 20. That's weird. I didn't do that. That's a challenge right there. Don't know where that went. I guess I feel also challenged in general this week by just preparing for multiple possible futures, and trying to think through some of the possibilities of reality that seem to be existing or seem to be possibly existing, and how I'm going to be able to navigate those or help my loved ones navigate those. It's kind of a constant challenge the last few years, but this lately it's turned into I don't know, it feels a little bit more um, urgent. Not like crazy urgent, but like something that means urgent, but less strong. I don't know. And a win, success, a blossom, whatever it's called. I whipped out a tool for school in like 24 hours, basically. I think I did really good. And I'm proud of that because, or that, you know, that feels like a win to me because I actually thought it was due next week, but it was due to last night. So I was like, holy shit. And I just hammered it out and got it done. And I think I did quite good. And along the way, I learned how to do something that's pretty useful as far as like game design and programming goes in my life. So that's cool. Um, yeah, yeah. And I also found some of the eggs the chickens were hiding. Yeah, been looking for them for a few days. Finally found them yesterday. Sneaky.
Thank
Excellent.
you, Noah. I'll go next.
You bet.
Okay, I will go next. Hello, my name is Jorge Pedret, and a challenge that I've been having this, actually I'll start with a win. There was a win that happened just last night. I was able to go on a one-on-one space with my partner, Melissa, after a long time of not having that space. We're so busy with the children. It's been so busy the last 5-6 years with the children that we've had like very little time for ourselves. And using this experiment that we're doing right now with another family of they held space for the children to go to sleep, and we had time to go to this Indian food space, Indian food restaurant, and like sit down like we haven't done it in a long time without children. And we were freaking out because it was like yeah, like there's like so much attention and so much intimacy was happening and so much yeah, it's like we haven't been in that space for a long time. And it was amazing. It was a definitely win. Like we had time to spend hours together, which was a real big goal. And yeah, I one of the challenges I've been having this week is finding my voice. There's been like just so many things around me, kind of like I'm like taking on, and there's like so much pressure from different places, and I've been having like a hard time like going into these places where I'm so silent. There's just like there's silence, and I'm not with anyone. I'm just like on the computer, like hacking out my stuff and writing and doing these things. And I yeah, like oh yeah, like there's this finding my voice inside of a mixed context when there is like the context is not clear where we are, or there's like a context of the ordinary world, and then when it clashes with like my like the world that I'm holding a space for, and then like not knowing how the two interact. Well, look at my pause. Cool. Yeah, that's been my challenge this week, has been that like my voice. I want my voice, I want my clarity, and I just feel so angry and like with this like big intensity of clarity, and I feel scared about it. I feel scared of using it and using that clarity to create the things that I want to create, or yeah, to say what I want to say, or to say what I mean. That's it for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, my victory has been, I think I'm about 2 weeks straight in of using ChatGPT to do the manual, and I've done yesterday the choice. I've done the values, I've done the combo types, I've done the synergy flow interaction, I've done the harmony synergy interaction. I'm doing a bunch of little ones that are sort of like popping up, and basically everything I have is just a framework for something like this to write into. So it's but my throat, my huge challenge has been my throat, which has basically been a lot of pain every swallow, and it doesn't go away. went to the doctor, and he had nothing. I thought he'd give me a big shot of penicillin, but he said we got the test back, there was no infections. And so he's put me on to a throat specialist. And it's interesting because at the time, it's like, as the manual gets done, I get closer to the point where I can teach. And the manual is the key. It's been there for 15 years. I've had this card set for 15 years. And so I've been, as I do this manual, there's this whole huge thing going through me of, oh my God, this is actually I can fricking get this fricking card set in the fricking world, it's huge. I guess that's it for me. So the next thing which I'd like to do is that for each of us to give an appreciation to each member of the team. So each of us kind of go through and say, what do we appreciate about each person on the team? So who'd like to start?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. I want to start with Nova. Nova, I appreciate your presence into the world and your dedication to taking a stand for bringing into the world a culture or a space where something else is possible. I appreciate your ground how you're grounded and how you are like a stable being in the space. Yeah, thank you. Is there a time limit or just
No,
like
just
a few appreciations?
do it however
Okay.
long it takes for whatever you want to say.
Okay. Hi, Nal. I appreciate the gentleness of your being and your sharpness. There is a sharpness about your being that it has a clarity about what it wants to bring in the world, and your persistence, your perseverance of taking that stand for that thing that you care about and that thing that you have clarity about, that you know. And there is a ruthlessness. I appreciate your ruthlessness and your that, and your humor too. There is like such a softness and playfulness about it I appreciate you as the bridge that you are in between these two contexts. Thank you. Elijah, feels a bit rushed, but I'm just gonna go ahead with it. I appreciate your humor and your fucking like braveness and just your commitment. Your commitment is gigantic to this transformation, to this movement from one culture to another. I appreciate your intelligence and what you bring out through your maps, through your observation of patterns and analysis of patterns and seeing of patterns. What makes it to be a human? What makes it to be alive? What are the flaws and the what are these, like the advantages, something like that, the gifts. Yeah, I appreciate your quality to see the gifts in others, and I appreciate you your learning path I appreciate that. Every time I see you, it's like I'm talking to a different person. You're a different person. I appreciate like how you are authentically in your learning path. Well, thank you.
Who's next?
I could go. Um, okay, Jorge, I'll start with you since you just went. I really appreciate your like seeing you in our meetings and also in some of the videos that you've shared. I really can see and appreciate your like authenticity and your constant attention to being authentic and being present and being truthful to yourself and being like open and like very and your like your commitment to like very good communication and like saying what you mean and like yeah, your authenticity is huge to me, and your constant commitment to authenticity. I see it, and I really appreciate that most. And I also appreciate the journey that you're on, or for the pieces that I've seen, like you know, like the experiment you're doing with the other family, and you know, the thing that you told us about today about how you going one-on-one with your partner, and you know, yeah, and like before you were in a bus with like mold and stuff and all these things, and now you like over here, and your journey in the physical world I also appreciate as well, I guess I was trying to say, from the pieces that I see. And yeah, I appreciate your thoughtfulness like around what we're doing as a group and what Elijah has been doing, and yeah, I guess as far as our team goes and purpose and stuff, I really appreciate that you've actually started kind of teaching some of Elijah's stuff. You've gotten deep into some of it, and you're at a place where you can actually talk about a lot of it intelligently, and that's very valuable, I think, for this team as well. So I appreciate just that you've done that and that you're at that place. But yeah, on a personal level, I super appreciate your authenticity and your commitment to that. Yeah, I want to say that 9 more times because that's how much I appreciate it and how strong it is, I think. But I'm not going to say it 9 more times, but yeah, you can just pretend that I am. Yeah. Hi, Nell. Yeah.
Thank you.
Jorge kind of said a lot of the things that I'm appreciating about you as well. So yeah, I totally appreciate your strength. From my perspective, the words I'm using, your strength, your humor, like your strength of character, and your strength of like like when you from my perspective or from my observation, like when you decide on something, or exactly like when you have a point to make, you make it, and you make it strongly, and you're good at communicating it. From my perspective, I appreciate that, and I have to say I appreciate your feminine existence in within our group, because that really helps bring us to a more balanced and you know, full state of groupness, I guess. Yeah, I appreciate that you're able to hold that role for us. And yeah, I appreciate the the stuff you're working on. I totally don't understand all of it. I don't know a lot about it. The we care, she cares thing is really interesting to me, and just really appreciate that you're you're actually trying to do something to help the world. And from what I can tell, it's not something that so far has made you a great deal of money or anything. So I can tell that you're, you know, the emphasis or the drive comes from actually wanting to help and not just, oh, this is gonna, you know, make me $1 million or something. So I totally appreciate your philanthropy, I guess. But I think it's not philanthropy, because that's I think that's a dirty word now a little bit. It's like I appreciate the passion you have for those projects, and the fact that you're taking on these projects and you've come up with them and all of that. That screams like wisdom and intelligence and thoughtfulness and like independence and like the ability to like do stuff like that is strong. Like entrepreneurship. I appreciate your entrepreneurship and your skills in that regard. Yeah, and I don't really know you super well, but I'm usually a good judge of character. So I think I also see in you something I appreciate with like your stability to stay in yourself and like be the person that you are and not try to like stretch yourself or change yourself for other people. And like I've seen glimpses. I think I've seen glimpses of that quality in your descriptions of interactions with other people outside of this group. So I definitely appreciate that about you as well. Yeah. Okay, Elijah. I mean, one of the big things I appreciate you is your company along this journey with myself over the past few years, mostly. Like that we've had so much communication and collaboration and just like talking. I super appreciate that you are in my life and like that we've had such good communication, and that you know, I appreciate that you're also kind of in the same situation, I guess, as far as like what's going on in the world and the future and like we talked about stuff like this, like that. And like I just appreciate being able to talk to someone about that kind of stuff sometimes, and like yeah. And to know that there's someone else in this, you know, turbulent ocean that is also on a boat that's trying to get to the same place or the same area as me, and you know, but more so than anyone else in my life, I think that you are that person right now. That super appreciate that you're there. And yeah, I definitely appreciate your ability to download things from the universe and turn them into magic. And bring this whole system and this whole, you know, card set and maps and stuff, I believe, which is straight out of the future. You know, that I think you've compiled this stuff from Akashic records and just the potential of the future, and I think you've channeled it and all this kind of stuff, and also done a lot of work to put it into something that can be useful and something that can be understood and something that's can exist in physical reality and etc. And I just so super appreciate your journey on that, your continuing journey on that, and the fact that you've dedicated a big part of your life to actually doing this. That's you know, your dedication. I definitely appreciate your massive dedication to this work that you've taken on, and I appreciate that. You know, you're not one to compromise your values either, like hugely. And I definitely really appreciate your I guess what am I trying to say? Like your authenticity, I suppose it might be the right word, but the fact that you're like, you will tell everyone the same thing kind of thing. Like you will tell everyone that the WEF can suck it or whatever, you know, like you're the same in every conversation, the same person. And yeah, I super appreciate that. I think it's something you've mastered out of some sort of like, I don't know, journey, I suppose, that you've been able to like master being yourself in all situations and not change who you are depending on who you're talking to or stuff like that. I don't think that that's super common. I think that it's kind of natural for most people to act differently or talk about different things or be slightly a different person depending on who's else is there or what else the situation is. But I think I appreciate that you're like I'm getting a vision of you like standing on a rock in the middle of a thunderstorm, and all this stuff is going on all over the place, and things are flying by, and people are running around, and like things are happening, and there's the thunderstorm and all this stuff, and you're like always staying on that one rock, yelling out to different people and different things going on, and I don't know, get this visual image, something like that. I appreciate that you're so grounded on the rock, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and I also totally appreciate, or I want to recognize, or whatever, kind of like the journey that you've started or got back on recently. I think since we started this group, and I see like a whole more of an opening up or relaxing in you that I haven't seen before in some regards. So I appreciate that you're, I think, I don't know, allowing yourself to change a little bit again, or grow more than you have before recently. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, and I appreciate your friendship. You know, that yeah, that for sure as well. Yeah, okay, I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you. And now would you like to go?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Nova, I would like to express my appreciation because I feel that you are a wonderfully grounded person who is trying to see through the Maya, the world of illusions, in a very creative yet very practical way. And I can see you as a so in a comic book you would be a superhero with a shield who is super well equipped in technology and in knowledge, and at the same time you are deeply connected with the nature and with your loved ones, with your family, and with the people who you care about. And I feel that your heart and mind and your will are fully aligned, and it makes me feel safe. So I'm very thankful to even through the screen, I can sense that. Jorge, I would like to express my deep gratitude towards you. You're a beautiful, wonderful father and a partner. That's what I can feel. And a wonderful, responsible community builder and space holder. And I can feel that something very important coming through you from your ancestors. I can feel the power of nature. I can sense the power of the loving man, of the caring man through you. And I can see you as in that same comic book as a superhero who is living on top of a hill with his community and doing sun ceremonies and moon ceremonies and bringing joy and love and music to the hearts of the people to heal them. So it feels so nice and safe to be around your heart and care. And I can feel that your sharp mind can bring a lot of ease to the people who may feel lost and stuck. So your mind and heart and will are also fully aligned, and it feels good to see that and experience that. Thank you.
Thank you, Heiner.
Elijah. Thank you for that long journey, what you have done so far. Thank you for holding the hope so dear to your heart. And thank you that you never gave up. And even though the circumstances are extremely challenging and not supportive, but you always stay true to the mission and to the purpose with what you came into this world. I'm deeply thankful that the sharp knowledge that you has and the gift of the language and this beautiful spice of humor can come together in your world. And in that comic book, I can see you as a superhero who is who is behind the AI and creating the consciousness itself with the help of the language. So I can see you as the wizard, as the creator, who always has a very beautiful humor, because at the end of the day, without humor, we all just pass out and just, yeah, that's the spice of life. So I'm so thankful that you have this magic formula, and your heart is shining through every cloud, which may bring some darkness, but with your power and with your energy, we can still see the hope in the future. So I'm deeply thankful for that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Heiner.
Who do I start with? I shall start with Jorge first.
Oh my.
You look a bit like a rock star. Your hair's changed. I deeply appreciate your humor that I can play with at any time. And there have been moments with you marching in the front of the grass with the kids running around and Kyle running around and everyone having our moment together. And these are moments of pure beauty for me, because you have this straight face, but you're carrying this incredible ability to make fun of things while still being respectful. You've been, I've said this I think many times, but you've been the person who initiates me into the next level of where I'm not willing to go, but you invite me in. And you have given me belief and hope in what I'm doing by your interest and by your support at a time when most did not. And each time that I sort of reach to you to perhaps go to the next level, you're there, and you have been there, and that's why you're here now. And like Nova said, your incredible freaking commitment to honesty, that's just at a different level than everybody. And honesty about your feelings, honesty about your fear, honesty about all the shit that none of us want to talk about. And you take your struggle into the shadow, and you bring it in and dive in a way that I think just inspires others to do so, because there's no way I would want to do that. And you go there, and so you're a living model for being a man who's in touch with his feelings, and a man who can take a group to get in touch with their feelings. And I see that you're going to do such great work with groups and people. I think not long after I'm dead, but there's going to be a time where you're going to peak. And I think you're still, and you're doing all of this with a family, and you're doing all of this like just teetering on the edge of oblivion. You ride oblivion while most people couldn't do what you're doing in a normal situation. It's like you're riding a surfboard and you're juggling, and you're going, well, I still want to be honest about how shitty I feel about this. And you go, well, of course you feel shitty. And so you're doing it under conditions that are, most men would, I don't know. You're far stronger than I am. I can see in that. And so the joy that I feel that you're here, and that you and each person shows up each time for this, because this is kind of like, this is it. Like this, I would not be able to go further, and I would not have gone even to here without you guys saying, hey, we want to support you in what you're doing. And that's what I needed. I needed somebody just to do that. And yeah, you're doing it. And in your busy lives and with all of the things you're going on, you're still taking the time out to do this, which is incredible to me, because I didn't know how this would work. And I didn't know, how it would affect me. And it's just, sometimes we just need somebody who just goes, hey man, I'm with you. You don't have to fucking do all the work. You just have to say, I believe in you. You don't show up and just say that. And that does wonders, like to everybody. And I feel to myself, and I feel that we will do it to others. And each of you are doing it in your own way. And I deeply appreciate it. Yeah, that's enough for you. And
Thank you.
Each of you in your own way has sort of been that beacon for me. And I think you, Hanel, you were the first person to ask me to be a mentor. You're the first person to sort of see me in a certain way and see me right away. And I really appreciated our one-on-one time, because there's that direct truth transmitted. There's like, each of us has no desire to hide anything or to pretend to be anything other than we are. And from that type of intimacy, we remember who we are. Because when you can be that way with somebody, And I can be that with each of you. It isn't just now, but there was something, I think maybe different with a woman and different with somebody that I don't know, because I don't know you like I know these other two people here. I've known them quite a lot longer, right? So you're new to me. You're one of my only, I don't have many new relationships in the last while. I cut off a lot of new relationships, and you came in because you were above. You were coming at such a pure place, and your desire to create something pure, good for the people, is what I think Nova was speaking about, is so true. And to me, I'm very attracted to people who are like that, because most people seem to be very focused on money, and it changes who they are, it changes what they do, it changes everything about things, I think. And I think your purity means that you align to the truth of what you really want to create. And I appreciate that that's true to you. And so you set the standard for whatever is going to be created through you, because it isn't going to, like, health cannot be based upon making money. Health has to be based upon wanting to help people get healthy. And money can come from that, but if you put money first, it's going to screw everything up. And that's the problem with our whole health system, right? How can we create a health system that profits from our disease? And so your friendship and your ability to, what I see in the group situation is, I think you really see what's missing, and you see what has, like, the practical basic things of what I saw when you facilitated was you just naturally put it thing in the right order and saw what sort of has to happen. And sometimes that can be very difficult. There's so many things going on, and we can get lost in ourselves. And I think what you have the ability to do is you can remove yourself from the scene, tap into the group field, and find out what is necessary to move that group or individual along. And I think that comes again from the purity of your heart. And so I appreciate your feminine balancing of our masculinity, because it's so strong. It takes the three of us to sort of balance your one. And I hope that we take that into account in how we are. But I appreciate your presence and your humor and your ability to hear my shadow and still not really get that affected by it, and to allow me to sort of fume in ways that I don't like to, but it has to happen. So thank you for all of that. And Nova, I everything you said about me, I say about you. I mean, you're the first person really that I've worked with in a way that we worked together, and we worked in a way where I actually got to direct the design with somebody who could build something that I couldn't. And it was just beautiful to be able to sort of have that easy relationship where we actually built something, two things that I think are very, amazing things. And you didn't do it because you were paid, and you didn't do it because you're going to make a pile of money. You didn't do it, you did it because maybe you just saw it needed to get done, and we did it. And that to me is massive. That's like one of the greatest accomplishments in the last 5 years of my life has been with you. And we did it, just us, right? And I think that part of what I like to go into the next part of this is to sort of, I like to go through that and show the others that software program, if you don't mind bringing it up after we finish this. And I think I'd like to say that, in order for you to finish your game, I mean, you were doing the game in the background while I knew you, and I didn't even know you're doing it. And you built this, not just a game, a massive game, the whole thing. Thought out the whole thing, built the whole thing, ran it 4 or 5 times, and it worked. And it's a better game than I think anything I played. I love the game, and you're so freaking stoic. You're unflappable with your emotions. I mean, a couple times you have driven me crazy, because I think you made decisions that, I didn't agree with, and I actually was able to go insane on you. I was able to freaking lose my temper, swear my head at you, and you were able to take it in a way that allowed me to actually kind of show my emotions when I'm pissed, which I normally don't do, or I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of hurting people. I'm afraid of it. And so your ability to sort of handle stress and to practically get shit done is at a very high level. And I have a trust of you that if we continue on in the long run, I think, there's a large trust of you that will get things done. Like, I think you could be an IT director, like whatever, you deserve to be at the command level. You deserve, I think you could run a good ship as a captain. And I have a trust that you have the integrity and the commitment to the bigger ideal and vision that would not get your petty ego in the way. And that's rare. That is super rare. Most people get lost in their own ego. And I think you don't. And I'd like to say something to the three of you in that there's a purity in each of you. There's a purity in each of you that has me trust you with the big things, because it's essentially what you said, Nova, was you need a team, you need something bigger to help with all these little pieces. And you brought it up a number of times over the years, and I can't remember the name you gave to it, but it's like, again, you're seeing something at a higher level that is necessary in order to guide. And I think that's what each of you has. And I think that you being here is like, you are deserving of the fruits. You are deserving to be at this high level because of how you live your life. Because you would not be here unless you had done your spiritual work and were at a certain level that allowed you to be here. And so my deep appreciation for all of you for being here and for participating in this. Okay. The next part is I would like us to take a look at the software. If I can give you the share screen. And I'd like Nova, you to go through it first, and then me to go through it second. Because I think each of us has a very different way of explaining this.
Okay, it'll just take me a couple minutes to bring it up. I gotta find it, make sure it works. Do we want to look at choose a remedy first, or is that not connected to this, or which you're talking just chat stream?
Just planetaryguardians.net.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I'll give it, as you get it up, I'll give a precursor as to where it came from. So
Okay,
basically,
just give me a couple.
so I've shown you the 12 by 12 matrix of the course that I wanted to teach. And it basically came from this program and the idea of teaching a full shared knowledge community, or potential of being a shared knowledge community, of having 12 facilitators, and then each of these facilitators having a team of 12 people. And so the idea being that as opposed to just a team, we're teaching 12 teams, and as opposed to the 12 teams, it's a full community. So that we're looking at the community level, we're looking at the team level, we're looking at the smaller team of 4 people. Like this is like a core Planetary Guardians team. In that a core team is like a media team of 4 people, where it could be the wizard, the lover, the king, and the warrior, or it could be the designer, the organizer, the builder, and the promoter. And so the idea being that there are some core structures that are at the base of a Planetary Guardian team, and that they start to learn how to create a living for everybody. That this is not only a service to the world, but a way to make teams that can support themselves. I do know. Still looking. Oh, okay. So what happened is we started with the idea, and then we had Le Ciel as a potentiality, because Le Ciel had 12 teams of 12 teams. And so we were going to use Le Ciel as a test group to see how it worked. And so for a while, we were really making some progress because we were getting it ready for them. And that never came to sort of be, but it is a working, like there is, I think, enough there to actually test it out. It has never been tested. And the missing, there's what's missing, I think, are the aesthetics. There's some sort of like, there's a lot of different screens that would make it look nice. But the basic functionality is there. Okay, so do you want to go, Nova?
Okay, so can you all see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
so
it
this is,
disappeared from it.
oh,
Okay, it's back.
okay, so this is just the Planetary Guardians framework for now. So I'm going to use Elijah's account as an example because he has access to everything, so you can see it properly. So I'm just going to log in. So yeah, this is kind of the, so first of all, what we're seeing here is the administrative platform. This is the kind of the back end of the whole thing. So as a super administrator in this position here, Elijah, can create new platforms. Like for instance, there's one for LCL that we created here, and there's a different one for Shared Knowledge Community 1. And there were some other ones we kind of constructed. But yeah, through this, you can create an entirely new platform. Say that if we're going to use one for an organization or for our,
Let's say She Cares, or
yeah,
We-
so you could do,
we-
we'd probably be an ally, and so far, you put the platform name, you put the email in, you'd end up getting an email by now, so you can log in and start changing it, and using it. But this is kind of the top side of it. So this is the very top level would be super administrator, where you can create an entire new platform for someone else. So once the all the software is set up, all Elijah has to do is click add new platform, put in the details here, access to the entire suite of tools and technology that we built. So that would be the super administrator level, as you see here. And then up here, all these things are basically just quick links for the administrators to switch roles. So for example, right now, Elijah's in the super administrator role. That's how you can see these. But if he switches to, for example, administrator of the Shared Knowledge Community 1 here, you just click that. And boom, you can see now he's a platform administrator role. So also in, as this rolls out, they would probably, in at least most cases, be multiple people, each of them having a different role instead of one person having all the roles. This is just kind of for testing as well. But so someone would be a platform administrator. Perhaps, again, that would be you, Heinel, right, if we're using the She Cares example. And in here, instead of adding a new platform, you can add a new group. And you can see there's quite a few groups here. So if you add a new group, for this here is actually set up for LCL mainly. So the group number is something that we can change how that works. You can delegate a facilitator right away if you want and add their email in, and you can name the group. And that's essentially all the platform administrator needs to do to start a group. And then once the groups are established, oh, sorry.
I just want to add that those groups that are there are the functions of the synergy wheel. Right?
Right.
So this is
Yeah,
basically like having the structures as we break down, use the different wheels of the inflow matrix to do so, just so you know. So then you're getting a captain or facilitator of each of those teams. And so if you had one for each of those teams, there's 12 of them, then you'd have the 12 teams of the shared knowledge community.
Yeah, and I should also point out here that you're probably seeing the LCL Foundation logo there on the right. That's just because we set it up originally for them as a testing thing. So obviously, when we create a new platform, that's one of the things you can do is assign the logo. But for now, it just says LCL Foundation for all of them.
Can we do that? Like, is that part of it now, or no? Or is it just, do they all get the LCL thing because we haven't switched that?
Yeah, I just have to make it so you can upload your own logo, and yeah, then that's done.
Okay.
So once you've created some groups, as the platform administrator, you can see all the groups. So if I was to click on group 1, for example, Now you'll see, and again, this is only if the same person, you know, is the actual platform administrator. They can always go in and edit the groups, just like the super administrator can always go in and edit the platform. So you kind of automatically, you know, as the leader of She Cares, for example, you'd automatically have access and the ability to modify all the stuff below you. But also, this could be just example as well as of a group administrator. So the group administrator for group one would see this screen only, kind of thing. They'd log in and they'd immediately be in their group administrator mode. Yeah, so here is kind of the beginning of the chat stream technology that Elijah and I had created. So you can see down here, step one, set up mission, the start. And then some other ones grayed out. And those are the 7 mission steps kind of we came up with, or well, Elijah came up with, but we kind of put mechanisms and functions to each one of the steps. And that part of it is really what makes this thing beautiful, I think. But for to start, let's just hit manage my team so you can kind of see what that's like. Here you can add members. So I can add a member here. I'll add myself and send email at this email.com. And yeah, so yeah, once you add a new member, they will receive an email, a temporary password, blah, blah, blah. Boom, you can add this member. Oh. There we go. So now you can say, oh, you know, there's 1 total member. So it gives them kind of nice reward. They have a member, and then they can go manage my team again. And you can see, yeah, there's Nova, but he hasn't logged in yet and actually activated his account. But this will change once that happens. And then here is kind of grayed out. You can see the total missions they've done, the total supports they've had, and the total personal points they've accumulated. And we can talk about that in a moment. Again, you can always delete their account, add more members, etc. So that's how you manage your team, and this scrolls down once you got a lot of them. So let's go back to the group administrator part. So, and this new energies as well is something that we put in for Luciel. This can be again, this will probably be
the group.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So we will change that based on what it is. So if I go to manage missions, which is the other big button here. Oh, I should mention this too. I set up this cool thing, update time zone, where basically you can set your own time zone. And then when we actually manage the missions and schedule things, it automatically always tells you the missions and the meetings in your time zone, which is a really handy tool, I think. I don't know why it doesn't exist everywhere, but anyway, we built that. So if I click on manage missions, you can see, yeah. So we had 2 different things because Luciel really wanted us to go in a different direction than we originally thought of. And they wanted this thing basically called free missions that they kind of invented. And oh, what happened there? Okay, take a second here. Oh, that's odd. Okay, that's fine. I will go back to where we were. Where was I? So group 1. Okay, so real quick, the 7 mission step, you can read that. So yeah, this is so welcome to the new Planetary's facilitator platform. As a facilitator for your group, you have been given access here to everything you need in order to set up the missions that you and your group will be embarking upon. Throughout the process, information and instructions will guide you through the process. Probably needs to be 2 different words. The first step is to create mission 1 to start. So yeah, I can click on what you do. I've forgotten how this completely works. It's been a while since I opened this, but I think what you do is you click on set up mission because that's the first one. Yeah. So yeah, the first mission is our first step is the start. So this is the first mission of the 7-step process. In the start, the ideal objective is for the group to use this mission to conduct brainstorming or any other type of ideation. Members will have a chance to support the ideas of other members, and this mechanism, this mechanic is used to rank the ideas for a group. So each one of the steps of the 7 steps has a certain function, a certain purpose to it. Yeah. So, but to create mission, you just click create mission. And then based on if it's mission level 1, there's not much to do, but some of them, they'll have different parameters here you have to set up. So yeah, please summarize the main objective for this mission. Perhaps it is decide oops, decide which building to purchase. How about? It's kind of a random idea. And then you specify a time limit for the mission. So, yeah,
It's
this
7
could go on
days.
for a week, 7 days. Yeah, so there you go, 7 days. And if you want an unlimited time, then you just set it all to zeros. So yeah, and how many stages are? This is again, I think something that Lysiel wanted to add to it, isn't it? But it's also a great idea.
Yeah.
So each one of the steps could be broken down into more than one stage. And conversation focus here. Don't remember why that says that there. It's been a while since we looked at the software, sorry. So let's just go with one stage, just to make this simple. So you hit continue and yeah, burning question. Again, this is something custom.
Say where's
say,
the
yeah.
best city to start, maybe, or yeah,
Sure. Which city?
part of the city, or
Yep. So that could be kind of the like frame of why we're having a conversation when they join the chat stream. So there you go. And then here's where you can really see Elijah's technology take shape. So beginning to kind of come through again. So you got the value lens, a conversation type, and a conceptual lens for each one of the steps, each one of the mission steps. So yeah, this took a bit of setting up, but basically you can click choice, sorry. And yeah, I have to still do some code, so this loads kind of when you originally log in. But you can see this is all the choice lens, all the value lenses are coming up here. And if I hover over one of them, you know, you can see what they are. And you can pick one and say, go with order. Okay. Then you can see order is here. That part is done. Next is to pick the conversation type.
do the random one just to show.
Yeah, sorry, so yeah, random. And yeah, if you don't like the random one, you can pick another one. So let's say, or you can go cancel and back to choose. So you can choose for the conversation lenses, you can see the different categories come up, like operation ones. Sorry, for the conversation types. So yeah, say creativity, or what would this be? Let's see, maybe infrastructure. Where's infrastructure? Infrastructure, purchasing. There we go. So we're talking about buying a building. Let's just put just so. And this again is how the conversation is framed when you actually get into, like, that's why it's conversation focus here. It's so when you get into the mission one and the people log in and they start talking to each other, they can see, oh yeah, right, we're concentrating on, you know, a purchase type conversation, the value that happens to be ordered, the one I picked here. And then the conceptual lens is the last part. Again, you can see kind of the main 4 levels, individual, group, or outer, sorry, inner individual, outer individual, organizational, and community. Let's say we pick, what would it be? Organizational, probably, I'm guessing. And then once you click that, you can see all the different lenses come up. And we can say operations, maybe, just so we kind of get through this. So
Maybe
yeah, so once you pick the 3, or sorry?
I would pick infrastructure.
Shoot, sorry. Okay, so once you picked all 3, this continue button comes up and you click continue. Then the last part is to say manual start or schedule mission. Basically, just if you click manual start, then the group facilitator can click a button at some point and start the mission, or you can schedule it right now. And again, this is always in your own. So the group facilitator would schedule it in their own time, and then automatically the other people would get notified in their time zone. So it's a pretty cool little system we came up with. Yeah, so you can do that, accept. Or you can just, not work. Not sure why it didn't work. So there may be a couple bugs that have to be kind of reevaluated here. But that is the last step of the actual mission setup. And once you set it up, unfortunately I have to click cancel here. But once you've set it up, this appears as ready. This next one kind of is available to set up, so you can set it up ahead of time. And then once this is ready or scheduled, the other people on your team will automatically get notified, and then when it's time, they'll start the mission. So I'm just gonna do this quickly so that we can see the chat stream itself here. Get back to where we were here. Just gonna pick some random stuff here. Sustainability, instructional, and connection. Cool. Okay, and I'll just click manual start, because apparently that one, oh shoot. That's strange. Okay, unfortunately there is a bug here that won't let me progress. Okay, so we'll go on to the other piece here. So if I was to click facilitator, you're going to get the group administrator. But if I go back down up to here, member, so this is the last kind of back end screen that you might see. So if you're just a member of a group, or if that's one of your roles, this is the kind of screen you're going to see. So you're going to see how many missions you've done, how many supports you've had, and how many points you've accumulated. And yeah, you can update your time zone again, which is handy in case you move or in case you're traveling somewhere. And then there's a mission now, apparently. So you can click on that and jump straight into the chat stream here. So once they click this, the chat stream gives you, yeah, kind of the greeting here. What we had set up for Luciel is this burning question. And we had, how do we translate what our group has done so far into a vision for the topic, a city of the future? And they had specified some lenses here. So once the participants saw this, they click continue, and then you can see the chat stream itself. So again, this is just a test chat stream. You can see some of the people in here are members of Luciel there, or participants in the program. And you can see, as an example, you can see that the only people that are currently online live in this chat room right now is Elijah, myself, or himself, and Brian. But for example, all these other people are also part of this group, but they're not currently online. That's why they're grayed out. Again, anytime you can see the lenses up here, you can see that you're on mission stage 1, free mission in this case, and you can see the personal points, your group points, and how many supports you have. And there's a little settings wheel here. You can leave the chat room. And then at the very top here, you can see the amount of time remaining in this particular chat room, or step, I should say, the mission goal. And lastly, you can see again that burning question, kind of the frame, and also an objective, which, yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on here. So yeah, obviously you can type a message and you can post it, and it comes up on top, which is unlike most chat rooms. And we decided to do that for usability's sake, because if I type another message, you'll see it also comes up on top, pushing the messages down. So always the relevant questions are right in front of you, or the relevant posts are right in front of you, the most recent things. The conversation continues to go down. You can always scroll down if you miss something, but yeah. And the other big thing to notice here is there's this support button beside Dharmendra's response. So the reason you're seeing this differently is these are all Elijah's posts. So the way you see your own messages looks like this. The way you see other people's messages always looks like this. And in this particular stage, in mission stage 1, the first step, there is support buttons. So how that works is if you click this, your group points will change, personal points will change, and the support button disappears. What really happened there is you're supporting that person's thought, that person's idea, the question, the response, whatever it might be. They're going to get a bunch of points for that, and they're going to get a support for that. And that's kind of the mechanism of the first step, is that you can support what other people are saying by clicking the support button. There's a limit to the amount. You only have 4 supports left here for the whole conversation, for example. And by doing this, it sets the stage for the next stage, for the next step. So once this is all finished, the time is run out, or the group facilitator can just end the mission at any time as well. The amount of personal points and all that kind of stuff continues on. So you get to keep your points. And the messages that were the most supported automatically become the messages that kind of guide the conversation in the next step. So, and that's kind of how you can begin to see how this works, is each step builds upon the last. And the 7 mission steps themselves takes the group, the whole idea is it takes a group of people or a board of directors, whatever it might be, through a process of ideation or decision making to actually say, okay, this is our decision, and then actually the last 3 steps are taking that decision and actually creating the steps and plan to do it. So by the time they start, they say, we have a question, we have an idea, we have the decision to make. It takes them through the whole process of doing that and through the process of how they're going to do it. So they come out the other end with a full plan. And that's, I think, the strength of what we created here, what Elijah came up with the 7 steps. And this is just one thing, right? This is a chat stream, one type of chat stream kind of process technology that we've come up with just in order to test it, in order to present it and start with something. But there could be many different types of missions, many different, there could be different sets of steps and so on, or different, different purposes of doing this for a company, an organization, a group of people, some friends, whatever. And this kind of shows you, I think, just I hope it demonstrates kind of the power and the kind of scale of what we're trying to do here, in a simple way. So yeah, I have somewhere a whole bunch of stuff to do with this. So bear with me, sorry. Yeah, so for example, you can't see this because it's a piece of paper, but the 7 steps would be in one model would be step 1 would be used for ideation. Step 2 would be used for assessment. So after the ideation phase goes, the most supported ideas basically through this process make it to the step 2. So the top 3, 5, whatever it might be. And then so the second mission step is assessment. So that one, our plan is to use kind of like scales and pros and cons kind of mechanisms in order for people to rate and assess those ideas basically. And by the time that's finished, then it goes to step 3, where you've got a bunch of supported ideas that have been assessed. And then step 3 is we could use it, or it could be used in this frame as a debate. So yeah, the assessed ideas are debated on, and overall, perhaps one is chosen, right? Which building do we buy? Okay. So step 3, the decision is basically made. Step 4, in this case, is we're calling it definition. So the first steps and the goals to actually purchase that building perhaps are fleshed out in this step. And then step 5 would be prioritization. So you take those goals and you take those first steps to complete it, and you prioritize them. You figure out what's needed first, so on. Then the 6th step is alignment. So in this, what we're encouraging people to do is at that point, take your 12 people, if this is a group of 12, group of 10, whatever, take your people and assign them to roles on the Synergy lens, if they don't already have set roles in that. And the steps are kind of can be handed out to those roles, or one way or another, you basically assign all these steps and goals to people. And the 7th, or actually that's the 7th step, sorry, is appointment. So the 6th step is the first steps are aligned to one or more of the 10 Synergy Wheel categories. And the 7th step is appointment through nominations and voting. Each of the 10 Synergy Wheel categories is appointed to a representative. So at that point, the person takes on the steps basically. And again, this is just one way to do this, but that's kind of the way that we came up with in order to have a finished product to test. So yeah, real quick as well, again, each of the 7 steps, this chat stream technology looks different. So instead of support buttons, there's other things happening. It may not even just look like a chat room. There may be other, things going on where you actually see, instead of the messages being the main thing you see here, perhaps it's the decided upon ideas or the steps that need to be taken, or the different supported choices or whatever. So through the 7 steps, the whole idea here is that you have a kind of chat room, chat stream, we call it, that enables and supports the ability for the group to move through these steps by using mechanisms in the actual software to complete those tasks and to do those things. And And once it's figured out, boom, they move to the next step and so on. In the end, and the idea is in the end, after the 7th step is completed, it actually exports some PDFs, some charts, some data of some kind, whatever it is that shows all the stuff that was decided upon and agreed upon and created out of the process, so that they, and people can literally get those PDFs emailed to them if they're, specific roles require them to take on these steps, then those steps would be in the PDF, and the descriptions that people agreed upon and what needs to be done would be all in there, and boom, everyone would get it, an assignment or whatever. Just an example. So yeah, I'll stop talking now.
Do you want to stop sharing the screen then? We got almost 15 minutes left. I'd like to finish up with getting feedback from Jorge and Hanal of what you saw, and perhaps I mean, the main thing being that each conversation type, there's 72 conversation types in the conscious communication card set, and that at some point we have a software that creates a chat room with specific mechanics that distinguishes each convo type. So the idea being that in the 7-step movement, that if you start with a brainstorm and then you go to a critical analysis and then you go to a design specs or whatever, you're taking a group of people, you're giving them a mission to accomplish a goal with a certain type of combo type, and when the goal is finished, it's finished, and then you go on to the next one, and then you do this 7 times, and at the end of it you have the end of the process. So it's like a game, you get points assigned to, and so the idea is that you can take any group through any process, and that you can design that process using the card set to figure out how to do it. And if we look at you, Hanal, that 7-step process we created for you, that we could then take that and create in the software that particular formula. So open to Hanal and Jorge for questions or feedback. And thank you, Nova, for that. That's quite a lot to download and to do. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'm speechless. This is massive. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, I have some like just like quick things that are coming. It it sounds awesome. It was a lot to fit in to digest right now, like because I don't have the reference point. I don't have like I had a question throughout the. Does this only work for 12 people team, or can it work for, like, for example, for us here? Can we do, like, can it work for 4 people team? Okay.
Yes.
So it was a lot to digest because I didn't have like a reference point. So something that could work for me, for my type, is to, if you create like a mission to go into, for our team here to go into a mission, and we actually use the software to see how it goes and to test it out or something. I don't know what stage it's at the moment. But yeah, that would be like my request to kind of like get like more realistic test of it. I really like when there was a button that you press and you could select the conversation types and the card types. I was like, yes, like I seen that in the future somewhere, or I seen that in my dream somewhere, and it's like, yeah, that part resonated, and it's like, yeah, this is it. And having, yeah, like those conversations that are very specific, and these groups that get naturally created from given the mission and given the conversation type that it's in the mission. And then you can like say like, okay, this mission has been completed, it's done, now this can be closed, ploop, archive, now this, moving on to the next, this is the next conversation. And that maybe there can be like multiple conversations that are happening in parallel, but it's like all in order, which is pretty cool.
Yes, I can see how the different lenses, the different perspectives coming together, and we can be able to switch perspectives whenever we want to, as an individual and as a group. And because of that, it's like, it feels like yeah, the energy of the organic growth can come through. I can see that.
I'd like to add something, just the amount of work like that actually got accomplished, because sometimes it takes companies a year or two, you know, to come up with something like that. Or they don't even come up with something even close, and just the amount of work that Nova put in, and to get that to that stage. And I mean, part of the Nova went to school, we were just getting close, and then Nova went to school, and he didn't kind of tell me. And so I thought we were gonna take this and do something with it, and Nova had other ideas, which is just the way life is. But that was one of those moments of, okay. But I just think like it's close. Like I just think with a few tweaks and a few, you know, I'm not sure, like if we just got a team of people in to sort of finish it off, because that final chat room, you know, was kind of like, it was okay, but it isn't close to at least how I imagined it in terms of the real aesthetics of it, of like the value and the combo type need to be more prominent. And but as you can see that we had each mechanic, like Nova built that support, like Nova freaking gets things done, man. I mean, we come up with the idea and then he builds it. And so like the mechanic of support mechanism, and then going, okay, well, if you're going to do an assessment, how do you take the assessments and then run through a process to figure out which one? And so as you see each step, you go through some sort of mechanic that's specific to the convo type, and then it takes you to the next step. So what it does is it really isolates the team to achieve an objective. So as opposed to teams coming together and just talking endlessly about anything, which can happen in so many different groups, this takes the team through a set process where they have to finish whatever is that little step. And until they finish it, they don't go to the next step. And then at the end of the 7 steps, you've got something tangible where they identify their idea, they've got their team together, and they did whatever was necessary to do. So that's what we were aiming at. And it's there, like it's not finished, but I think I agree with Jorge. I'd love us to go through it, and maybe against the debate, because like right now, I did one session with the Warm Space Oliver, and we came up with a debating little platform. It can't be saved, and that's the main problem. And they're either going to work on it or not. But I suggested they have to have that anyway. Or perhaps we can do something with We Cares, or maybe Jorge, you have an idea. I'm open to whatever is the best usage, and maybe through the chat we can figure out what might be the best thing to play with, and maybe or maybe we use the chat to figure out what idea we want to take through the thing, and actually use what we had to come up with different ideas. Maybe the first thing is, what ideas do we want to test? So we're coming to the end. It's 3:26. There's 4 minutes left. If anyone has anything else to add, let's do it quickly.
Yeah, I'll say these few things. Just before I came into the meeting, there was this thing that came up that says something like, to be able to consciously communicate, you need to be able to consciously feel. I didn't know this distinction before, and it makes so much sense. And this is like kind of like this work that I've been like so prominent about learning how to feel. And it has like really released something in my vocabulary, in my language, about how I express, and from what feeling I express, and what feeling are other people expressing from it. So it's been just really like transformative about communication. And this is one of the things that I would like to see more in the Planetary Guardians Center. Like there is no so much emphasis about feeling. There's just like, because yeah, like I don't know, it's a bit longer conversation, but that was the part of it that I think a company, a organization, a team of individuals, we need to know like how to feel and the power of our feelings. There is some distinctions in there that it can either make or break a team. Like it can really like get the team to go further into something, or the team just collapses because there is a emotional immaturity. And I'm bringing this up and with your idea. There is the cloud of startover.xyz, which is like a cloud of like over 500 websites with experiments and different distinctions and things. And I thought like it almost like fits into this software. Like you can like pick any of these pages and actually go through the experiments that are there as a team. So there is like some introductory ones that we can pick for this. Like I don't know, that's when you asked that question, Elijah, about what could we get started with. I was like, oh, these two fit really well, because there is a website called How to Play, and you can like feed that into the system, and it pretty much you have like a set of missions and experiments that you can do with a team. So yeah, that's my, and I like the other idea of bootstrapping the system with like, what can we start with? Like that being the first mission. It's kind of like, okay, it's ready to be bootstrapped. It's like the initial run. That's it for me. Thank you for holding space, Captain Sweep. I say Captain Sweep because I read your name there, but I like to call you Elijah. Thank you for holding space, Elijah.
On that note, I just want to quickly say or ask who will be holding space / facilitating next meeting, and is this okay time again for everyone? And can we put 90 minutes in again next time?
I think it's Jorge's turn, isn't it?
Well, anybody can pick, but I would like to go next. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I will go next. I will hold space next week. And yeah, this time works for me.
Me too.
Okay for me.
Okay. Cool. You
And
want to do a handshake?
Hanal, would you like to sort of finish off with your feedback?
Well, it will be with Elijah, because so I have the tradition of doing the handshake when we pass the space holding to the next person.
Okay.
Do a handshake.
Okay,
Cool.
can we finish off with Hanal's feedback and?
Yeah.
It's hard to say anything. It's super clear, very structured, a lot of opportunities. And I love the way that things can be done. We can teach the people how to finish things and move forward in a very clear, practical way. And I love Jorge's feedback about the feelings. Yeah. Amazing, amazing, mind-blowing. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, great meeting, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to hold the space, and I look forward to next week. And I just want to congratulate, like, part of what I want to do with showing that software is just, I'm not sure if because of what we went through that Nova fully understood how good it was and how I think it's a breakthrough technology, and he did a fantastic job in the time that he had with what he was working on. And he's not, a designer from the aesthetic side. He's more of a programmer, and he said that, and we needed another person we almost had, but we were close. Like I think it's close to becoming a great program, because you can, from the very top, go down in a I know hierarchy, you're not so but you understand the hierarchy. It's a hierarchy of sort of conceptualization of being able to organize large groups of people. Like with this one program, we could organize hundreds of thousands of people really, by maybe having a super administrator at each country level or something like that, right? Where if we figure out the real process of the 7 steps, we can scale it. We can really scale it to do the we care internationally, or if Jorge has a great idea. Like I think each of us has an idea of how to use it, and each of us could use it for whatever we want. So anyway, that's it. Love you all.
Yeah.
And
I like to go maybe yeah, I like to go maybe next week or like deeper into this topic of hierarchy, because I see there is some like gaps or something, just to bring it into the table.
okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. See you, everybody.
Thank you guys. Bye.